the pistol brace situation has gotten more complicated. Now, I'm going to do my best to move through this information in a way that brings you up to speed and does so in only a few minutes. So if you find this video interesting, informative, etc., it's going to be ruthlessly suppressed by the mainstream media and the powers that be here at YouTube. So please help me out. Hit all those buttons down below. You know where they are and how they work. The background information that you need to know is the Mock v. Garland case. I have a video out on this. It's very short. I'll have it linked everywhere that you know where to find it. But to run you through the Cliff Notes or Spark Notes, depending on which generation you're from, on that one, we were granted a preliminary injunction in the Mock v. Garland case out of the Fifth Circuit, and it said, and remember, a preliminary injunction is an extraordinary measure. All right, I am not an attorney, but I've come to know that this is an extraordinary measure that is not normally granted unless there's a capacity for great harm or damage. In this case, the judge is like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Preliminary injunction granted, and that keeps the regulatory agency from enforcing the rule against the plaintiffs until the larger course is taken. The question is, who are the plaintiffs? And the FPC asked who the plaintiffs are. Are they just the people listed on the lawsuit? Is it all FPC members? Because Firearms Policy Coalition was one of the plaintiffs. Or is it everybody impacted by the rule nationwide? And the judge says, I would love to give you more clarification on that, and I'll give it to you on June 2nd, as in the day after the rule takes effect. So what that tells me is that judge punted that one, hoping that somebody else was going to step into the fray on that one and say some things, and then he'd be off the hook. That's how I read that one. Now, fast forward to today. We have another preliminary injunction. This one is by, I believe the judge's name is Jane J. Boyle, out of the Northern District of Texas, and the case is brought by the Second Amendment Foundation. Oh, that hurt my brain to pull out. and a couple other people. And the judge says expressly, this preliminary injunction is granted for the plaintiffs only, except if the judge in Mock v. Garland expands the plaintiff pool. So literally, we are now waiting. Eyes are back to the Mock v. Garland case, and that sort of makes sense because, remember, this is a district court judge. Jane is a district court judge, and the Fifth Circuit, being the next level above that court in the same territory, it makes sense the judge in the lower court would say, yeah, whatever the dude above me says. I'm not really happy about this because, you know what, you could just do your job and be like, hey, you know, this is not okay for you to do to these plaintiffs. What about everybody else? And that's the argument that I've heard from a lot of people is these decisions don't really help any of us. No, that's not true. These are definite wins. Again, preliminary injunctions are extraordinary measures that are not normally granted. And in this instance, we have, count them, 2 preliminary injunctions. We're waiting on a third case that could come any day now that also may go that same way. They're all saying, nah, we think, again, what a preliminary injunction means is that the plaintiffs have a high likelihood of a success based on the merits of their case. And that's without even hearing the arguments. The judge says that. That's a really good sign. And I have said multiple times that I believe personally and professionally that this rule will eventually be struck down across the board. However, it may very well likely take some time. So all eyes on the courts, all eyes on Congress, and all eyes right here at the VSO Gun Channel. As always, thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on another video here if we don't get shut down.